going to talk about first today. Ride sharing, Uber, Lyft, those ride sharing apps, are they making our life easier? But like at what cost, as you said in the cold open? Are taxi drivers being undermined, the regulations being ignored? What do you think about Uber and Lyft?
I think they're really good apps. Like I was in Orlando a few weeks ago, and between the cost of getting to the hotel where my convention was at and leaving, you know, the car there stored in the garage, it was easier for me to, you know, get a ride on Uber. I would save like 20 bucks. Wow. It costs $20 for you to keep the car in the hotel garage. And it will probably, you know, and all the other, and then the daily expenses of renting a car.
But what about compared to a regular taxi? Because that's the issue right now. Because, you know, like I've talked to some cab drivers who are now Uber and what's the other one? Lyft drivers. And they're like, you know what? The transition was tough, but there's still people that don't want to do Lyft and Uber.
Well, here's the thing. So, number one, taxis are regulated, okay?
So by who, though?
By the government. But it's regulated, and well, there's interest. There's interest in it. Taxi drivers don't want, you know, people to just be able to drive people around in their car like an Uber Lyft because it undermines their, you know, their industry.
Their service.
Yeah.
And you know what's going on? And I do get that because with Uber and Lyft drivers, they're not regulated. There's been a lot of problems with crazy, weird Uber Lyft drivers. But before we get to that, taxi drivers are going crazy. We got a video from Mexico where the taxi drivers are basically trashing. Can we play the video from Mexico?
God.
Check this out.
No way.
We have the taxi drivers. Who else would be trashing? Who else would be trashing though? No, guys, trust me. This is. It might be a Trump supporter in Mexico. Is what it is.
An anti-Trump supporter too, an anti-Trump person.
Right.
Well, but look, but it's not just. Well, go ahead.
No, I'm just thinking it's just a little bit unfair for, especially, you know, some older people are just getting used to getting their phones and everything, the applications, and it can be a little bit tough. So for some of them, the transition has been very hard, and they still have the right, you know, they've worked so hard for so many years, and now, you know, they're losing a lot of businesses. Easy.
But I mean, for me, it's also a sign of this new free economy, you know, where people can just, you know, come up with an app and do something. But it's not, you know, it's also the Uber and Lyft drivers that are sometimes in danger. We have this video on viral. Did you see this? A girl from my hometown of Miami started throwing the stuff out. Miami. This is what happens. Can we show the video of the crazy girl? She's drunk as hell.
Only in Miami.
911, please. She's getting
Call 911. Oh, yeah.
Let him go.
Call 911. Call 911.
Is she flirting with the Uber driver?
No, she's not letting him leave. Look, she starts hitting him because he didn't want to take her home because she was too drunk and started throwing stuff.
Oh, well, with all due reason, hello.
So he's trying to hold her back because she was just trashing his car.
What Uber driver would want this crazy woman in their own private vehicle and risk having her throw up in his car?
Inside because I think I saw this on The View, one of my favorite shows. Yay!
We're just like The View, but Latino. Yes.
I know that girl is actually a doctor, I think.
And she got fired.
She's a
doctor?
Yeah.
Yes.
And she got fired. Only in Miami. We want to bring Bruno. Let's bring in our roving millennial here. Bruno, you're very big on apps. You introduced me to Venmo the other day.
I like that.
First time.
His phone weighs like 100 pounds from all the apps that he downloads.
Mine too.
Venmo virgin, I had to do it.
What's the weirdest thing you think about this ride-sharing phenomenon?
So, for me, I have a problem with Lyft. I'm gonna tell you why.
Oh, you do?
Lyft's policy is that they prefer you to sit in the front seat.
Okay.
Now, if you're trying to avoid some weird experiences, why brings them physically closer to the driver? You know what I mean? I feel like that just creates even more issues. It's more of like, you know, they want them to be personal. They want it to be a comfortable experience, but that makes me uncomfortable.
How personal.
Right, exactly. It's like, okay, and there's some sexual assault, I think, in the news, you know, some stuff that happens.
Yeah.
I don't know much about it. However, I do think sitting in the backseat would obviously be the better option. And
well, it's also the background checks. Either Uber or Lyft don't do background checks.
Well,
I don't know which one it is, but they have to have it. I mean, like, but think about it. Who would have thought about this girl?
Right.
You know, she's a doctor. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Who goes off like that? It's just like
Doctors get drunk too.
It's called South Beach, baby. I lived there for 3 years. That happens every day. It's crazy.
Uber and Lyft, I think, pulled out of Austin, Texas because the government wanted them to have their drivers, you know, do like fingerprint background checks, and Uber and Lyft weren't having it. So
well, look, to me, I think that this represents the intersection between almost free economy, everyone do whatever they want without regulation, and hey, sometimes we need regulation, like background checks on people that are gonna drive complete strangers throughout the city.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you think more of these are going to spring up, or is this just
Well, no, I
Uber,
think
or-
right now Uber and Lyft have, you know, kind of a monopoly. I mean, how many more ride-sharing apps can you come up
There's
with that
a
have
couple,
a twist?
but they're not as big as
There's
Uber and Lyft.
somebody who started, I think, a ride sharing like for kids. Like
Oh,
say,
I heard about
I'm a
that, yeah.
mom and
I thought that was
like
scary.
I want somebody to be driving my kids around.
Yeah, that's
like
a little
and
weird.
that's very convenient. But it went.
Oh, it's not in
I know
existence
it-
anymore?
I don't think it is. It went out of business.
I
so,
think one of the things, and we were discussing this before the show started, is that companies like Uber give drivers an incentive for driving a certain amount of time. You know,
Right.
if you drive X amount of hours, you're gonna get a bonus. But sometimes these drivers are trying to meet that goal and they're tired. They're falling asleep at the wheel. So what the heck is going on with these apps?
Which is really dangerous, by the way.
See, that's why I like regular taxi drivers, because they're always sober, but they always smell bad. Have you guys noticed that?
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Who cares about how they smell? They're expensive.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Guys, that was a very insightful conversation. By the way, after the show, we're all gonna take an Uber out to the bar, okay?
Yeah, we
right?
gotta-
Or a Lyft.
Drive
Uber or
safe,
Lyft.
everyone.